Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our next series. It's going to be Immortals going up against Team Liquid F. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be straight transparent with that. Every non-challengers team in this league has F as that abbreviation, and they're all different. And I can never remember when the moment calls for it, which one is which. But,
All right, moment calls for it. Which one is it?
First. Yeah?
Yeah, you got it.
all right. Hey.
Non-verbal cues, I got you.
Oh, I was. You're all the way on the other monitor, Kobe. But not looking into this. I mean, I feel like all the matchups that we have today are pretty fun, but I do feel bad because I feel like for Team Liquid First that whenever I get to see them in a compilation of cool league plays, they're always on the wrong side of the compilation. So I'm hoping today, Cubby, that we get to see something good coming out.
I am too, but I think that there are a couple individuals that are playing well on this team, and definitely excited to explore that, as well on the side of Immortals, who haven't had the best start to their year either.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about this Immortals roster, because it's another one of those things, too, that looking at the players, there's definitely some good players on the team. It's just things haven't necessarily teamed together as much as maybe it needed to, like some of these other teams.
Yeah, so I know I visited the IMT camp last week, and they felt like last week was really good for them, as it was the first week of scrims where they were able to play as a full lineup, and they felt like they really improved. They did split their series last week as well. They feel like that's where their season started, and now they're going to just go from there. So I do really want to see if they can show continued improvement as they have just finished up their second week of playing together as a team.
I mean, a couple of those improvements that we got to see coming out from individual players, too. Like, there is definitely some highlights. I believe it was Balulu that just was popping off and showing us some really good things.
Yeah, Balulu's been playing really well. Like, it's coming over. He had a rough start, but honestly, some of his gameplay, like, you look to the big one being that Silas stolen Gnar ult that he had, being one of those huge plays. You can see the mechanics and why this player was brought over in the first place.
I think that Balulu, like, IMT, when they've been winning games, it has been because of Balulu. And I really want to see if that can continue, because he has been good. And he is someone that, I really feel like has made a big splash in this league. So I want to see Balulu keep it up and continue to not only win his team games, but also see others step up too. This was the game that to me was the most impressive from Balulu, because the only reason they win this game is because of this play, and he traded himself for the very Fetazir 3 fights in a row, which was great game recognition from Balulu.
And that's why I think we keep praising him as how he has been as a mid laner, with how he's shown up, especially with more practice with the team. You could really see how he has been the player that has to facilitate the rest of them. He is the flanker. He is the one setting up the fights, even if it means giving himself up.
And not the only team that has a player when they're able to off that it could be leading into the wins. Looking at this Team Liquid Honda First roster, I'm looking over at the left side of this, Cubby.
Yeah, it's all about Surdy. I mean, last week, like when I was hanging out with Prismal and Young after their matches on Sunday, and I wasn't watching the matches, and they said, oh, TLF's like, they're up 1-0 against Team Liquid Challengers. Like, oh, it must have been Surdy, right? Like, even the players in the league know that Surdy is a really, really good player. And they know that he's the one that if TLF are going to win games, it has to be off the back of Surdy, who has been fantastic this season.
Well, and they built that comp around Surdy to beat Team Liquid Challengers, right? They had the Ashe, like, Mia played well on that, but it was much more supportive with the Imperial Mandate, even on ADC, Lissandra as well. It was a showcase of why Surdy has been this incredibly hyped top laner for a long time.
This play was crazy, too, and I know they dropped this game, but Surdy, he's been playing really well this season. He's definitely one of those players on a provisional squad that's making a case that he should be on a challenger squad. And I just want to emphasize, again, he is on a provisional team. He has been second in the league in gold differential at 15 out of all top laners. The only one ahead of them is Haunter, and that place is 5th in the league overall. Surdy has been that damn good this split, and I want to see if he can continue it against ADD.
I'm going to let you finish, but we got Chad Jungle. You guys also follow him. He's the cook in the he's the cook that cooks on the brim.
Get him off
screen.
Hey, I got the chalkboard on my side. Chad, if you watch his gameplay, absolute maniac. Best player to watch. Level 3 ganks, he's got you. Plus, he likes to cook. He's like Rafa and loves making his own food. So that's reasons why you should follow this player. Make sure Chad Jungle LOL on Twitter. Give him follows because also that helps me out. Don't get away from that. Get away from that. Ignore that. Yeah, there you go. This is what to pay attention to. Pay attention to the man on the screen with the chalkboard waving it in your face.
I feel like that's the biggest reason to not pay attention to the screaming man on your
what
screen.
What do you mean? Pay attention! That's because I seem like the crazy guy on the street with the end is nigh chalkboard. Doesn't mean anything. Follow Chad Jungle.
Hey, I'm just seeing if I see someone screaming on the street with a chalkboard, I'm walking the other way. I'm not looking at the chalkboard. I am not sticking around to see what he's talking about. I'm gone. I'm out of there.
Well, that's because you're boring. You have no flavor to life. That's why.
I'm not looking to get kidnapped or I don't know, yelled at by Mad Magical over here. Have you seen that jacket? He's wearing a button up willingly on a Saturday. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
What?
He was doing it for the theme, Sierra. You know,
yeah, I was. I am.
And the craziness is for the theme too, and the chalkboard's for the theme as well. Please go follow our players on Twitter.
Yeah.
Even though
Chad, Jungle,
I didn't prep
LOL.
anything for mine. Yeah, and then always plan ahead. I don't even get to talk about mine. I didn't prep anything unless you check my Twitter, which is down here. There's something there. Anyway,
we're supposed to be pushing the players' Twitters, not players'
Look
Twitters.
at this guy over here. At least me and Sierra are the players. It has nothing to do with us. We're follow these players. And then Cubby over here, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Cubby. XX.
Where if you follow Cubby, you can see some of the hottest League of Legends takes out there. So,
Sarah, don't get pulled into this. Do not get drawn down the drain. Ignore it.
I've been calm. I haven't even been on my high horse about Prince that much,
All right, we've been derailed. It's time for draft. It's time for a game to see which player can step up to try and get their team in the lead in this match. Let's go.
All right, let's get into this one. Team Liquid first versus Immortals Challengers. And as we talked about, the top side of the map is a lot of focus for Team Liquid first for a lot of teams, but it's going to be an interesting match, I would say. Surdy against ADD, someone who's been much more historic on these tanks.
And I gotta see, I would not be surprised to see a lot of top lane focus in the bans coming out. We've seen a lot of Fiora and Jax denied from Surdy. Some of the most banned champions against TLF as a squad. But also TLF, they are on the blue side. So, something like Maokai could be up. And it does look like Immortals, they really want to try and get City to maybe play that Maokai. They're taking away a lot of City's answers into these tank junglers.
Mm-hmm. Kind of forcing the hand. These are also City specials. And speaking of special, Rengar banned against Chad because it doesn't matter what you play into it. Chad and most likely is going to try to play that.
I would have liked to see a Maokai ban. I think we're going to see Maokai picked. It's just going to be a Maokai Sejuani handshake. And we will see if TL wants to opt into that. And
I'm calling Kha'Zix for Chad right now.
I got to say, Fiora's on the board. And if Fiora's on the board, Surdy will take that as early in the draft as needed. He's been blinding that champ all year. So eyes on Fiora right now, but I really feel like we're going to see likely a Maokai or a Sejuani taken, or actually going to leave the handshake up and going to take that Ashe.
Yeah, Ashe, most likely for Mia in the bot lane to give her something powerful, but Chad not going for the Kha'Zix, as I was trying to call out ahead of time. Taking away that Maokai since it wasn't first drafted. It's an understandable takeaway with how powerful Maokai is, despite some of the nerfs.
And these have been City's answers into Maokai. A lot of it's been the Karthus and the Kindred. So IMT using their bans to maybe force the more standard matchup of having a Sejuani or a Vi into the Maokai. We will see if that's what City wants to opt for, as that is a very early Rumble taken on the side of TL. Ooh. This is going to be Rumble Jungle, maybe, and we could see a flex. Jungle. I think it's Rumble Jungle too.
Yeah, because Sejuani's already banned, so that's what else do you have? City likes to play. City likes to play a lot of these AP junglers, anyways, kind of like how Kevy does as well. So playing something that we haven't seen in a while back in the jungle. We got to see Rumble last game, but this is definitely a City special.
Now, do we see something like a I don't know, like a Thresh or a Tom Kench? I know that Joey's played TK once, but getting out of these Astros could be big. Also, it is worth noting that there is some flexibility with where the Ashe, the Tristana, and even the Rumble goes here. So TLF on blue side, still somehow holding all their cards, while IMT's comp, we can assume a lot of what's going on there. But I did tease the Fiora. A lot of that's been dropped to keep the flexibility, so Fiora will be taken away. Would not be surprised to see Surdy lose his Jax as well, as he has been receiving bans for those champs all year in NACL.
I'm curious, the Camille matchup into Cassante, how does that really go? Because
you can play it.
Surdy is a historic Camille player, loves to play that champion. We haven't really gotten to see too much of it this split.
You can play it. It's something where I think that you're still taking Camille more for what she brings in fights, but that could be the option to drop that ban here from Immortals and maybe take away a mid laner. I also do really like TLF taking away the Syndra, and I think they're going to leave Azir up because Tristana has a good matchup into Azir, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe take away a Victor, another control mage that Balulu could play in the mid lane.
I'm just hoping Balulu plays Vel'Koz. That's always what I'm looking at with Balulu. When's the Vel'Koz angle?
You know, it's funny too, because when we first saw Aspect competing, he actually was on a team with Surdy, with Tomio, and then a marksman that went by the name of Shiro, actually changed his name to Danny.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Did some decent things in the LCS. But one of the strategies that team used a lot back in that iteration of Evil Genius's Prodigies was actually the triple flex Tristana. Aspect very good on Tristana. They had a really good idea of how to play out those mid games and take a lot of turrets, which is the goal. So I think TLF, I look at that comp and all I see are just turret taking ability. Azir with the push would hurt that, but also I like the matchup for Trist mid, so I think that Aspect's going to be piloting that Trist.
This is something we used to see too, like when Azir was the only dominant mid laner before Corki matchup, all that stuff. Tristana was an answer into that because you can get control of push as you get a couple levels into you. Plus, if Azir ever leaves lane, you're going to take that really quickly.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. We were looking at that. This is going to be what Surdy picks now. What do they want to put into Surdy's hands? They've got a lot to build up around him, especially having both that Ashe, which I'm expecting to be bot. Well, Ashe is going to be bot lane. That is going to be Tristana mid.
It's Jax for lane. If you want to play for lane, you take the Jax. Scion's an option. I think that there is a lot of damage on the side of TLF. I don't know if there's enough, though, to support a Scion. So, yeah, they're going to take the Jace. Continue that focus on the mid game. And now, if ECA connects with anyone, it's going to be followed up by a Shock Blast.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of damage really quickly on that side.
Play Braum.
Yeah. I was gonna ask about.
I'm a Braum. I'm gonna advocate for Braum. I was trying to talk Joey into Braum. He thinks the champion's trash. I can't really blame him too much, but I think
it's also Joey, man.
Braum TK is pretty good here.
Have you ever talked to Joey? Joey's like, nah. He was the innovator of Ashe support last year when no one was playing that one, so I'm not too surprised. He's like, yeah, that's boring. Let's go with something a little bit more exciting.
I think Leona is good, and it's one of Joey's best champions historically. You can somewhat stat check the Nautilus. You can force Mia to burn Cleanse, which I expect for Mia to go for, but she's actually showing the Ghost right now. We'll see if that switches up as we get into game. It was, of course, Unforgiven Summoners. Or I guess it doesn't matter. We're in a new lobby. Anyway, TR bugs are fun.
I was like, yeah, well, we can talk about that, how that was used last time by Unforgiven. Get a lot more mobility around these fights, especially early on, because Ashe, as a laner, is really strong with how much poke she can provide, especially comparable against that of Varus.
It's something that can actually surprisingly match the lane, and something that Mia pilots well. So I am curious to see if Mia can play that out this game. She's going to be under a lot of threat from the Maokai, the Azir, the Varus, and the Leona. So definitely something to look out for. But TLF, that mid game is going to be really strong with the Rumble Jace. So we will see if City's answer to the Maokai and another unique champ for City can come out on top of this game.
Constantly digging down deep into the champion pool, as now this is what I love. Shenaniganeries abound. TLF all booking it towards the top side of the map. Surdy will spot out ADD, but they have no idea the rest of the team is right there and waiting.
Yeah, we're in game number 15 for TLF, and this is City's 12th champion.
Flashed, okay.
Nice.
Getting an early flash dice. Really, again, building up Surdy in this top lane.
This has been the focus for TLF. Again, we expect City to be working his way up to the top side. Thank you to our observers for showing us that ward. And it is important as we look at, take stock of what we see so far in this game. Always love checking Varus's keystone early in the match. It looks like it's going to be the poke iteration of Varus with that Comet. So trying to match some of the poke of the Jace does take a little bit longer to get online. Of course, Varus does spike very hard at level 9 in the mid game. But We will keep our eyes to see if IMT can execute this strategy where I feel like they need to execute a little bit quicker early, frankly.
As we sit and take a look at the polls, everyone in chat, make sure you're spamming either IMTC or TLF, which one you want or think is going to win. Because for both teams, there is a lot that rides in this series. For IMTC, a challenger team towards the bottom of the bracket, not where you'd expect one of these teams to be, they have to get this 2-0. They have to make sure they're getting distance between themselves and these provisional teams to showcase why they are the team that was put together as a Challengers roster, while the flip is there for Team Liquid first. A team that wants to prove themselves that they are not just comparable with the Challengers teams, but they are better than many of them.
Nice trade there from Bululu. Was able to space the rocket jump and then picked up level 2 to counter some of the damage as Bululu on the Azir. Again, Bululu has been that big star and the person that we have really enjoyed watching on this Challenger squad for IMT.
Someone who has brought a lot of character to IMTC, as I said, having struggled so far in the season. A lot of their wins lately have been off the back of the plays that Bululu set up.
Yeah, also was in a great video with him and Fleshy as they talked about the very tragic earthquake, and I should say earthquakes as the aftershocks in Turkey, very deadly. You can go check that out on Immortals Twitter. Was featured on LCS as well. But Bululu
donate
and
if
Fleshy,
you can as well.
Yeah, both coming from the TCL. Definitely something that's been impacting them this week. And speaking of impact, City on the top side.
No flash for ADD either. This is an easy gank. City getting a lot of damage on ADD. They'd like to give that kill over to Surdy if they can. Way to get out, but with the shield, they have to make sure someone gets first blood.
Well done. That was set up from level 1 as City 3 camps, runs top, catches ADD out as Surdy is deciding what to do with this wave. He's going to take the cannon and then base and TP back.
Yep. As we get a TP from ADD to make sure that he's not losing out too much experience in this top lane. But great stuff so far right out of the gates for TLF, playing to their win con, which is playing around this top side of the map. Which now, let's look at IMTC's side. I look at Chad, level 3 ganker. He always likes to go for this regardless of champion. He's level 4 right now. And he just got a full clear off. So I'm looking at where he'll first make his mark.
Looks like he's going to pick up that bot crab. It will be a full clear for Chad. As he was going for the top crab. Couldn't deny that from City, who will base. But overall, still okay here for Chad. Again, Immortals. Over time, Azir is going to feel really nice in this game. And things can be okay here for the side of IMT. I mean, the engage between Maokai and Leona is going to be very difficult to deal with.
The point and click that you get from Maokai, as well as the long-range engage that's non-committal from Maokai. There's a lot that goes well. Looking at that kind of wombo combo they've got themselves set up with, as well as some flankers and Bululu. I mean, here's Chad trying to hang around the bot side. Then, all right, do I need to show up?
City's here.
Is the first one there, getting a lot of damage. The flash as well onto Joey. Pulled back in with the dredge line. Yeah, City all over the map so far. He's the one making the plays.
Yeah, so City's here originally, like, the wave shoving out for TLF, and he knows that Maokai is going to be going for the bot crabs. He spotted them on the top crab at level 4. So City's just here to make sure that the wave gets in. But Joey going in, they're actually able to turn that into a play and a kill for the side of TLF. So City's impacted both of the side lanes here early, and Tristana's very stable mid, so it's a great start for TLF.
Perfect start for this team. Really looking at how they've recuperated from the beginning parts of the season with a very rough start. You know, 3-11 at the moment, but a big win last week against their sister team in TLC, I think has given them a lot of confidence back in how they can play up against these challenger teams.
And this is a roster that for us, when it comes to TLF, like we looked at them as a provisional team and said, you know what? These individuals can compete at the level of these challengers teams. And I still do feel that way. I know that from talking with Rovex, you know, he said, hey, we are good players on this team, but part of that means that we all have different ways that we believe that, you know, the game should be played. And there has, you know, like any new team, they've had to kind of come to an agreement of what they're going to do and how they can function as a team and make the plays. So I think that as TLF continue to figure that out, I expect to see better and better things from them because, again, this is a roster that has talent in it. And we knew that coming into the season. So good to see them with a nice game plan here early with another unique pick from City, catching Chad and IMT off guard on the bot side and getting a really good start to the game for TLF.
Ooh, Aspect getting chunked out pretty low here against Bululu. A little rough since now you're shoved underneath your turret. Have a hard time getting towards those minions to utilize the explosive charge passive minion waves quickly against Bululu. And I'm looking at how stable this mid lane was, like you talked about. no longer really being the case and could be something that City attacks to get yet another lane ahead.
And this is a tough spot right now for Aspect. He's actually going to base on a small wave. I mean, he's going to lose the vast majority of this as he doesn't have TP. City base too. I actually would have really liked to see City wrap around and pick up this wave if he was able to. As that is a wave and a half going to the wayside, and now a timer from Balulu. He will be spotted on this control ward, but both him and Chad working their way towards the bot lane.
And looking at how they duo up, how they work together, how they've kind of grown as a squad so far. Chad still is looking for that initial mark on this game, and City has been the one who's actually been outpacing him at every stage.
They did just get a hawk shot out of Ashe, and City is going to be spotted on a ward here, so IMT have that info. As Aspect already back to half health walking into the lane. Gonna have to chug through those rejuve potions. Balulu doing a very, very nice job winning this game.
Surdy fighting against ADD, but it is Jace lane, and you don't have that many resistances so far, so ADD realizing he's got to forfeit a lot of this control over to Surdy.
And I think this just plays into Surdy. I mean, first off, he's playing Jace into ADD, who was a good Jace player last split for his team in the Latin League. But I think that Surdy, I mean, this is a big point for Surdy from this split. I know from talking with his coaches at EG, they love working with Surdy and some of the highs to get hit as a player. But a lot of it for Surdy was always the consistency. He's been consistently damn good on this team again. He is second among all top laners in gold diff at 15. We know that Surdy is a good laner, can put together good laning phases, but it's been the consistency this split that has really been the difference for Surdy and why his stats look so good. And he's a big part of TLF, and as that's going on, they pick up the dragon, and TLF still cruising in this early game.
This is where I want to kind of shift that praise over to City this time around with how he's made these plays on the map so far to set up a lot of these side lanes. They get their first neutral objective, and look at how City continues to outpace Chad, always a step or two ahead of him.
Oh, we have an ECA coming out. It's going towards Balulu.
Oh, nice dodge. Pixel perfect.
That was close. Thanks to our observers for following that one. I mean, I know that we are putting a lot of praise on the Surdy, but also I think we do have to recognize Balulu on his own. Look at that CS gap mid.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
Balulu is going to eventually be a problem, but that problem will have to wait a few more minutes still, because the problems are wherever City are on the map, constantly outpacing and making sure that he is the proactive member, that IMTC cannot utilize this gigantic lead that Balulu has over Aspect so far.
ADD is actually going to TP back to this top side, and with Robux hovering here, we have City starting up the Rift Herald. Joey will be spotted on the rotation. Wixie has based and gone back to the bot lane. Surdy does have TP coming back up soon, and he's a little bit low on mana, so I think City's going to have to relinquish this Rift Herald and wait for his top laner to reset before they can do it.
Might even call Mia up, who's recalling already with the wave crashing in.
Yeah, it's an option.
Could be, but I doubt that that would be the case,
TP.
especially once you see that Wixie's bot lane. You might as well just send your ADC.
It's a double TP for TLF. This should net the Rift Herald, as we can see Joey. He's done. They know that with the Jace, they can't really force him out with him just returning back to the lane. So that will be Rift Herald going over to the side of TLF. As Joey, I say that, and he is still sprinting mid lane, as it's been a little bit of a duo lane here for the Tristan and Nautilus.
Pretty much a backup ADC matchup, right? Like, all right, well, the Ashe is Ashe and just going to throw out volleys over and over again to clear out the minion wave the best possible. Might as well try to support Tristana, who is struggling against Balulu. Oh, hello, Arrow.
They can sacrifice that arrow for the fact that they were able to pick up.
It's a low cooldown. It just zoomed past. I was like, oh, hello.
It's important to note, too, you highlighted in Draft, Matt Magical, how that game that Surdy went off as the Fiora into TLC. It was indeed the Mandate Ashe build. And it looks like we have that yet again for Mia, who has rushed that Mirror Mana, but we're expecting to see that Imperial Mandate come in next. So a big focus on the utility and the CDR of Ashe, utilizing that kit that makes her so oppressive as a support.
But it works perfectly because you already have your ADC to back that up in Aspect. So long as you can make it easier in this lane phase where Balulu is utilizing these control mages, more of this artillery style. Yeah, I'm looking at this.
City. Okay.
Looks like he's fine. It did look a little dicey there for a second.
I mean, it's going to land some nice harass here, too, as still rather calm game. TLF just cruising with a 1k gold lead. City will sneak into the lane now, but Mia doesn't have that ult, so City's just here for the hover. He's going to base, protect his bot lane, and TLF, everything they've gotten in the early game, it's been going their way.
And this is where we have to see these provisional teams. This is always when they struggle. It's how they translate those leads from lane into team fights, where their macro puts themselves on the map. Because that has always been something that has caused a lot of these teams, despite large leads they've gotten. If you look at like CLG Faith or FlyFam, they always just seem to struggle at that point. And it's a learning lesson on how you can utilize those leads to gain control at the mid game.
And speaking of leads, Blulu's using his lead mid.
Trying to body block for Mia.
Oh, Mia so caught
but we go top lane because Surdy's dueling against ADD. We got a lot of fights as Surdy's got to be careful because ADD, he's all out. He's got the damage. Dodging back in and he dies as City shows up just to make sure it's a 1-for-1 bot lane. Nobody died either.
Really well done from Rovex and Mia to survive that play. It was flash burn from Rovex and a cleanse from Mia, but you can live with that. Because top lane, I mean, both top laners go down, but City, he picks up the wave and the kill. That's A-okay here for TLF, who that solo magic damage Rumble has all the gold. That's really good. Oh, Mia.
You gotta love those moments. You're just like, yeah. Just delay the back as much as possible.
It actually is a small wave, so if Mia feels like she can get the sin, that is a little bit of an advantage in terms of tempo. Rather based on the cannon waves, of course, as we are going to take a look up top. That shock blast goes wide for Surdy. It's going to prompt the all-in from ADD. And you can see Surdy, he's trying to use that E to buy space. Actually, he doesn't use the E. I wonder if the E was on cooldown. We might have missed that off camera, as maybe he was looking to use it there. ADD dodging out in that first Q, though. It's actually what enabled him to win that 1v1. Well played from ADD. Showing some of his proficiency on the tanks, as always.
Gonna be more difficult for Surdy to kill as the game progresses as well.
Yeah, he's still a Jace. And Surdy just got his Eclipse, so he's kind of murdering this matchup still.
Yeah, I mean, kinda.
Very much so.
I don't know, man.
Things are good for Surdy.
Watch. ADD is going to kill him again. I'm calling it now. I'm calling my shot again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you know what? I think Surdy gets the next solo kill, so I'll take you there, Mad Magical.
All right, what's the bet? What are we putting on the line here?
I will open up the next game with shenaniganeries if I don't win.
Oh, I like it. All right, then what do I got to do?
I don't know. We'll think about that.
Right.
I just know that's an easy one for me. You got to come up with your own as well.
All right. Give me a sec, Chris. Right now, ADD. This does not count. This does not count because that is a 2 against 1.
Still, they got his flash. This is going to be first brick going over to Surdy. I think it's, again, well worth it from TLF, as City actually does have that Rift Herald to wait all the way.
Nice all out, though, from ADD to dodge away from everything.
ADD, okay. I gotta say, I think if Depth Charge kicks that off and then we follow up with the Dredge Line from Rovex, we might be able to find a kill. But not the case, and it's a trade across the map here, as you can see how far back Mia's playing. But it is a trade for each team to put resources on who they feel like is important. Surdy takes down that first turret for himself, and it's going to get some good work done through the second. Whereas Wixie is behind, but he's going to be taking the outer, and also was the second dragon that went over to Immortals during all this.
They got themselves their first dragon on the board, nearly taking... Oh, no, they did take the full turret bot lane. Nearly taking the mid lane is Balulu. But Balulu! Balulu!
Man, Balulu's been really damn good in this league. That's all I'm going to say. He's been really damn good in this league. Continues. It was good Emperor's Divide there. Aspect did have flash. Maybe if he's able to flash over the wall, he can make the play. As Surdy, he's made himself look rather tasty. ADD,
he's dead there. Does not count. That was a 2 against 1. That's not a solo kill.
They did get the flash out of Surdy, though, and Surdy's actually looking to clean up this top outer. So I think he's going to get it before Wixie gets there. That's a lot of gold going out of the Jace yet again, and we set it up before the game, Mad Magical. We felt like the big difference maker in terms of players for each of these squads. It was Surdy for TLF and Balulu for Immortals. Look at the scoreboard halfway through. Surdy was just given 2 turrets over to the top side, not to mention all the focus from City. And Balulu, with the lack of focus mid, he's opened up a 40 CS lead for himself. So we're going to have to look out for both of these players as we move throughout this game.
All right, I got mine. I'll tweet something biased for you.
Biased for me?
Yeah, on my Twitter. Because I always try to be unbiased. So one of your biased takes I'll post on my Twitter.
I have no biased takes. It's all... No. Don't talk about Busio. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, arrow goes wide. Didn't connect on a Balulu. That's a lot of members here. Top side of the map. switching it up 4-1 for each side, waiting for the next Rift Herald that is going to spawn.
I think that wherever the Jace is, that's where TLF has to play through. So I am pretty curious to see if TLF even decides to sniff around this Rift Herald, because again, we haven't talked a ton about the Immortals comp, but if they are able to set up the poke from Lethality Varus and the Demonic Embrace Rush on Maokai can be rather difficult for TLF to deal with. I think Ashe can help counter some of that, but still not the easiest thing to do in the world.
As you can see, because as you talked about, they want to play around Surdy, they want to play around that top laner. They forfeit control over the Rift Herald, and they're sending more members for ADD. He's just getting punished here. He was pinned between the turret as well. Took a lot of damage to the team. He comes in from Balulu. Will scare away from TLF. They are not committing to this dive anymore.
Okay. Still, they did get a resource out of the big carry for Immortals. That's a TP from the Azir. Maybe next time they fight, things can be okay. Is Mia?
You gotta be careful. That was a Youmu's pop.
Cleanse.
Yep. All right.
All good here for the side of TLF. As, again, the composition where, the carries are on the top side of the map. We have a more supportive Ashe for Mia. As long as she's able to get that mandate, she will be extremely impactful in this game and still keep up in the damage numbers. I like the fact they're funneling farm into the other members first. I feel like that's actually really smart coming out of TLF. They continue to keep control of this game. It's 2.5k gold lead, and we'll see what happens with this next dragon. Is a Mountain Soul very valuable for both of our teams here, especially in a lower damage game. Looking at, the Lethality Varus. Extra resistances can really help against that for TLF.
And also on the other side, getting some resistances against City, resistances against Surdy, even though, like you said, it's the Eclipse, so it's not like you're gonna have that terrible. No flash, and Blue a little early on the Emperor's Divide as ADD pulls him back with the all-out as well, getting a lot of damage onto Surdy. The TP will complete in time. It does not. Aspect a little bit too late. He flashes though. He's looking for the kill. He's got the rocket jump out, so it's a 1-for-1 fight at the moment.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh yeah, everyone's there to make sure that he's got no escape.
Good setup from Immortals. They had control over this side of the map. They made the plays, and now Joey's found Robex. There's no turret there, Robex.
No flash either. Gotta be careful. Robex getting bounced around, and should be an easy kill to gift over to Wixie. Just waiting for it. Chad says, nope, it's mine.
And it's a much better setup from Immortals that enables them to cash in on that play. Great TP setup from ADD, as it was the first TP from Balulu that kept Surdy down, and the second one that makes sure they punish the flashless Jace. Get that shutdown over in their pockets, and importantly, full control over the Mountain Dragon setup.
Yeah, City, he was hanging out nearby looking for the dragon afterwards, but like you said, it's a really good TP setup from ADD.
There's nothing Surdy can do. The flash from Balulu guarantees that he's not going to eat a lot of damage on the way back. And then the flash from ADD means that Aspect has to fully commit. He's going down, as there are many members there, as City.
Okay. City looks caught out. Takes a lot of damage there from that piercing arrow. Will barely hold on to dear life, but the dragon will be secured by IMTC.
See if TLF can answer some of those cooldowns being burned from Immortals again. When we've seen Mia pilot this Ashe, it's just ECA's off cooldown, we put it on cooldown. That's kind of the theory here for TLF. And we've seen Mia be very liberal with how she's firing off those ECAs, using them to stop recalls, trying to pick up some tempo on the map. Not at all bad. Actually, like the timing of the last one, because it made sure that she still had it for the dragon fight. Definitely something that these players are thinking about.
Well, like the thing with a supportive build as well is you could just fling them out. It's going to be back off cooldown in no time.
Not at all bad, as Mia's getting real close to finishing up that mandate for herself, and we will see if it could be used to great effect. But I gotta say, some praise to Immortals. Well-deserved, as I think especially off the back of Balulu, the player that we were really hyping up for Immortals, who has had such a great start to the season. Making plays around him to going a little bit better for Immortals than it has for TLF.
Well, this game spells out the way we had set up at the beginning of the show. It is about Balulu and Surdy. How these two players play. They are going wide on Wixie. Just taking a little bit of damage from that equalizer, but not nearly enough to scare him out of this lane. But unfortunate there.
These ultimates from TLF are being used so liberally, as they know if they get sums out, they get flashes out, they get cleanses out. These cooldowns are low enough where they can be up in, 80 seconds, pretty much all of them, and they can just do it again. So, as you can see, Mia's ECA is already almost off cooldown. Rumble ult,
equalizer,
halfway done.
Getting close on both of those, but that's a nice charge. And they look for that pick initially. They got one to go golden, and it's going to be City still, the one that they want to take down. They got the kill on him. Like you said, there's no ult. They couldn't use the equalizer. And Balulu's on the other side looking for Chad as well. Where's that Divide? They've got it, and they've got them all locked down. IMTC are crushing him. But look at Aspect inside of the base. He's going to open up the inhibitor turret topside.
But they weren't able to get Balulu, so they're going to push for the Baron, and IMT are just going to make a trade. They're going to lose this inhibitor, go for Baron. Balulu has no TP. He's low enough where he's actually going to base and get Aspect off, but it's too late. So a big trade on the map. TLF take resources. IMT takes the gold, and it's going to be Baron for an inhib.
Yeah, and it's getting low fast. They can burn this one quickly.
Aspect, hold on. Aspect
Aspect not going to be in time. They've got the hot shot. They could look to check. They could look to dive in as Balulu.
Oh, he's going to find Balulu.
He didn't go for the back. They've got the pick. They've got one taken out. And Balulu, the main target. They've got the arrow on ADD. And Aspect back in. But the buster shot's not enough to pick up the kill. So 4 members of IMTC survive. But look at the base. They've got a TP. No way. Come on. We're not having this early into the game. They've already taken down one Nexus turret.
No, it's too much. It's too much.
There it is. It's way too much. They bit off a little bit more than they can chew because here comes Wixie on the other side looking for the chain of corruption to connect. They've got it. They've taken down Aspect, who dared take down the base.
Okay, TLF, that was a little bit too much. A little bit too hypey. I appreciate it, though, as Surdy does take down one of the Nexus turrets, and what a wild chain of events there. I gotta say, ADD got the shield off on Cassante. That saved his life and saved more resets coming through from Aspect's Tristana. So no Goomba Stomp was available, and a wild turn of so many wild events just happened in that phase, man. Magical. But I gotta say, Immortals, they kept their base up. They have Baron buff. They got a lot of gold in their pockets. I think it's worth.
Is it though? That base is in tatters. They lost the Nexus turret from that, and you've got to deal with the Tristana still.
It's worth because they got both TPs. So they cannot TP and capitalize off the inhibitor being down on the next chain of time. But Balulu, if he bases right away, maybe he gets out, but instead he gets taken down by Aspect. Look at ADD. He's going to get the shield off on an ally. This saves his life from Aspect. So he gets it on the Joey's Leona. That's what saved him and saved really disaster for the side of Immortals, as that plus the Baron recalls, they were able to all get back around Mia. So TLF really pushed hard to end the game. We're not able to get it. We return to live. Wixie did have to burn Cleanse. I assume the ECA connected onto him, and Mia will have that ult back up by the time this dragon spawns.
This has made that gold lead that should have ballooned for IMTC relatively even between the two squads. Even with the tier 1 still standing mid lane, it will be the tier 1 taking topside for IMTC.
It's still well done here by TLF. They ate the ult, and Balulu, he doesn't have that empowered TP. But he's going to force Surdy to go match him. He doesn't have the Baron buff either. But still a good push. Was able to get at least one turret down. And when Surdy shows up... Oh, no. Surdy canceled his recall. Never mind. Balulu gets another. Wow.
Yeah, should take that.
So TLF are sacking all this for the dragon. That's a big sack from them, but they realize how important this dragon is. They have to win this fight now.
Yeah, they don't want to give up, especially with Mountain Soul. How critical that would be and how difficult. It was already hard enough to kill ADD before. It'd be nigh impossible afterwards.
They have to win this fight now. Balulu is still sticking around. He's going to have that empowered TP up by the time Dragon comes, so he's going to base now. He has an item in store. I'm curious what he finishes.
I am too, but right now it's a delicate dance around Dragon.
Yeah, he has Zhonya's. That's big.
Zhonya's as well as an elixir.
Too.
So he's got even more poke that he can provide for the team, and if they win this fight, they can easily end the game afterwards.
That arrow going wide from Mia just might be it. And Balulu's TPing to the creeps. TLF, they have to play through mid because they cannot play through the Azir. Balulu will stop anything and everything from that, as that's an ult.
Okay, only getting a little bit of damage onto Wixie. Not nearly enough to stick. And look at Aspect. He is waiting to see if he can get into this back line, but so much vision has been set up by IMTC that it makes it impossible. So that structure will be taken mid lane. But like you said, there's no ult. Having dodged away from the China corruption might help out as Rovex flashes away, but Aspect still has not found a way into the fight as City gets pulled back in by the Emperor's Divide, and losing your jungler is huge, especially with the dragon on the line.
I know City's still on high ping. That's a bit of a bummer. Not able to react from that Emperor's Divide. And also, we are level 16, so that is a wide ultimate. Balulu was able to still snag the Rumble with that Shurima Shuffle. And trade of flashes, trade of dragons, and TLF. I really feels like they lost control of this game, Mad Magical. They stopped playing through the Jace. That was their strong point. Certainly still is the strong point, but also with how the map's being shaped, they haven't really been able to position Jace to get that poke on the back line. That's the important part.
It is. They have that poke, but I'm just looking at what TLF can still do. This game, to me, doesn't feel over. Even though it's 3 dragons on IMTC, it's not the soul itself. You have 5 minutes, or 4 minutes and 4.5 minutes of reprieve until that point. If you're TLF, you have this window. It's a small window, and the clock is ticking. But you have these opportunities to make something work.
And honestly, I think there's something that's really telling for what TLF's going for. The fact that Aspect went for an Ivori. So if you math out this build, the DPS is higher with IE, but Navori, of course, you get more cooldowns. You are able to take turrets faster.
Arrow.
Oh
Wait a
boy.
minute. Balulu. Oh, surviving.
That's the combo.
So much damage onto him. It's the combo, like you said, and still not enough to take out Balulu. But bot lane, Aspect should take down a structure.
Yeah, so that's where Navori is really valuable, because you always have your QE up to make sure these structures go your way. Now,
Okay.
I think that... Oh boy, this is a big...
They have no idea.
Good setup from Chad.
Sneaky,
really good.
Sneaky. Why you should follow
really
that Chad
good.
Lol. The Chad Jungle Lol is who you should follow because he makes plays like this. Yes, I'm selling out in the middle of a team fight because they get a double kill for IMTC.
You know what, man? Magical, I'll allow it, because that setup from Chad from Fog was great. Takes 2 down again for TLF, and TLF, they don't have any ways to really deal with this Maokai. Rovex has to see Maokai so we can set up, catch the ultimate, and dredge line away. If you aren't able to do that, especially if you're going to commit flash, as Chad did, Surdy's dead. That's a lot of the wave clear for TLF, and now IMT looking to walk away with this.
It was body blocked by Joey. Nicely done to make sure that Wixie won't fall, because he certainly is dead with that combo.
Surdy does have TP when he spawns in 10 seconds, so I think IMT have to retreat. Not give Surdy the window to try and punish there, but you can see the idea of this composition from TLF. It is use ults off cooldown and try to chunk people with your ultimates. A very curious strategy, but honestly one they can pull off with the team comp they have. I will say, they've fallen behind, but they are showing some fight in this game. Mountain Dragon was definitely not the best role for them. Giving up those 2 dragons has really hurt what this composition wants to do.
Granted, it's still only a 3,000 deficit that they are at right now. I do like the tweet out from Team Liquid.
That's pretty appropriate.
Yeah, it is looking difficult to get back into that position you once had. Surdy, Aspect, there is always that nuclear option, right? Of sending the 2 TPs into the back line to end the game. It's only one Nexus turret that stands in their way.
But they have a long way to go on the map.
It's very far. It's very far.
There's a lot of Teemos that lie between that and the Nexus turret. Also, an inhibitor's up, so, you know, they got to go through that, too.
Okay, nice arrow spotting out. They're not falling for it twice. They're not. They're like, okay, that happened once.
Turned it.
We're not going. Oh, but the pick onto Surdy. So Wixie can take him down with an auto. And here's Balulu making sure they make quick work. Look at how they rip through everyone. The flash in from Wixie. Grovex on the run to Spider-Man. Out of there. But Balulu with the slow. Another arrow connects. And even though you tried, Grovex, you still died.
That's it. IMT, they've outscaled TLF. I think they've really tried to set up this comp admirably, but IMT way too much. Shout out to both Wixie and Balulu. I think played the fights well, able to dodge out on enough ultimates, especially in the mid game, to make sure this game went their way, as it's tough to finish into an Ashe. We'll see if Mia can delay enough.
Equalizer, looking for that to clear out the minion wave.
Balulu.
They could use this, there it is, to clear out the minions. Balulu taking a lot of damage, but they already lost the Nexus turret. City had to go golden. The minions were not cleared out fully.
Well done, City. Well done by City.
Or has it? Because they got Chad. The tree has been chopped down.
Oh no!
Back. Oh no is right, because the pull on the ADD is Wixie so low. One more shot chase. They can chase this for a long time. TP, but it's not from Surdy. And here is Aspect in the back.
They're going for the end.
You never can count them out.
Surdy TP'd bot. They're going for the end. Screw the dragon. Screw the Baron. They want the base as they did before. Surdy's trying to get the waves in.
You got to stop him right now. Stop the back. They can do their best, but he's going to get through. It's only ADD and only one Nexus turret, as Surdy can crack this open.
Okay, Balulu has empowered TP. They have creeps in the base. If Balulu wanted to make things really crazy, he can go back, and honestly, they can finish the game before, so they're just going to have to take the dragon. Does Balulu TP?
Let's see. Yeah, minions pouring in. He could easily take that out. Again, both sides, only one Nexus turret apiece, and with Balulu spawning, he could easily get there. But like you said, 30 base, that will deny that possible angle.
Shout out to Observer Lorne for showing us the base and keeping all the action for us as the quick zoom. I like that.
Respect.
Thank you, Leche Lorne. But with that said, we have a wild game here. As Immortals, this game felt won. It still does feel won for Immortals, but this base defense City, the stopwatch, honestly saves the game as it keeps himself alive. Mia able to keep on retreating into the base to get her health bar restocked up. Arrows, or the W, I should say, very annoying for IMT to deal with, and over time, they overstayed their welcome.
And that snipe right there from Surdy as well. Well done. Like you said, the rest of IMTC hunted down. Getting these pickups, these kills, the gold, a presence back onto the map. As we see, the gold lead is negligible between the two teams. It's down to this Baron.
Yeah, I still got to say, though, TLF never says die. I still think advantage is at IMT for this point, as that ECA is caught and Baron is taken. So the second Baron for Immortals, I mean, every fight we've seen where it's a 5v5, it has gone IMT's way, as Mia keeps on trying to buy space, these Ws, plus the Empowered Shock Blast. I mean, it is difficult for IMT to keep on buying space on the map. They have tanks that can catch these, but it is annoying.
Well, we also have gotten to the point of the game where Equalizer isn't even necessary for team fights. It is purely a wave clear tool. It's poke, wave clear, whatever you need. It is all around utility.
This game, again, IMT, like, we look at Balulu on the Azir. He is so goddamn fed. Close to a death cap. Has the Zanyas. He has Flash. Level 17. Level 18.
There you go.
I mean, all eyes have to be on Balulu in the next team fight. Again, I feel like Balulu is at the point of the game where he can shred the game by himself if he connects with a good ultimate, or it's a good team fight setup, which IMT has all the tools to do. It's just, can TLF break it at this point? I know the gold is negligible. I know Jace is hella strong, but I don't know how many windows they can have to get back into this one, Mad Magical.
The fact they've had two is already a lot.
Yeah.
A third one is hoping for a miracle at this point, because right now, as you said, IMTC, they are in firm control, even if the goal doesn't necessarily say that. They've got these items, 4 items completed for Balulu at this point. With the stopwatch, with the Zonias, he's going to melt every single member on TLF. They don't really have a good frontline that can absorb his pressure.
Just all about the poke. You know, how low can they get the health bars to IMT before they enter the base? And it's so difficult to set up, especially against the Maokai. And this is where the value of the Maokai is so good, because his ability to drop those saplings and poke you out. Very dire in TLF, really just trying to stay to the lanes as Rovex. Oh, he's going to set up a TP ward.
Oh, he... Please.
Yeah, we're getting real... He's setting up a TP ward. They're going to double TP in.
Oh,
remember the TPs that we said from Aspect?
Let's go.
He's setting up. He's going to throw a ward in the base, in fog, at the gate. You can see Surdy's basic now. Him and Aspect, they're going to try and backdoor the game.
They're going to try. Okay, they got to stop this turret from falling. There's the TP.
Here we go.
Equalizer to clear out the minion waves. They've got to stop the ports, but
Baron's up, though. Baron's up. They can't stop the ports.
Oh, they can't. No, the TP back too. They will at least take an inhibitor for the troubles, or will they? Because Aspect's doing a lot to commit. Has to jump out of there. 3 members are now chasing, and that's going to be the TP flank to make sure they can't get out of there. The pull back in. The desperation out of Aspect. Oh my God, he almost takes him down. But now Rocket Jump.
Another TP.
And another TP. Balulu, head back! You gotta be worried because this time, oh, but Balulu damage is monstrous! Taking down the hopes of Team Liquid Honda first!
We set up the game as it all comes down to Balulu, and guess what? The game all came down to Balulu. Can they take him off the rift? They couldn't. The Emperor stands strong, and Balulu now looking to wrap up this game. It's 45 seconds away from the Dragon. TLF cannot go for another backdoor anytime soon, as IMT looking to put on the finishing touches of what has been a great game from their 2 carries.
But the thing is, it's not over, Covey. It is not over. That game marches forward. An inhibitor will fall, but both TPs were burned by IMTC to stop the base from falling.
Yeah. Good sidestep. That was much needed. If Mia catches that arrow, I think she dies. Again, these ults can be up quickly.
That's a lot of damage.
For the side of TLF.
They can chase this down. They gotta be careful, though, because the poke from Wixie on the other side.
You can go around.
Nearby. Nobody's here just yet. They haven't spotted out. That's going to be the blast cone safety, though. Yeah. IMTC will get out, and with Dragon spawning, Oh, no.
It was a lot of poke, though. Like, a lot of poke connected. I mean, look at how low Joey and Wixie are. They can't really sustain the health bars back up after some of the changes that we saw as Rovex.
Uh-oh, Rovex. Oh, that's dicey with the knockback onto that line.
Oh,
they don't have the damage. They don't have the equalizer just yet. And with him going golden, it's a buy time. Can he get the ult off? He does get a lot of damage and tries to survive, but they make sure they get the kill. And Balulu dies. Reset for Aspect. All right, 1v2. No way this game keeps going, is it, Cubby?
He didn't have the Zanya's up, so when he went forward, Aspect finds a great kill that's very clutch. And now Surdy, if he can chunk out Chad, I know Smite's off the table, but IMT, they're still going to start this. They have no DPS. It's great poke for TLF. I don't think they should start this objective. Drop it. You can still win the game afterwards. This is risky for IMT. I know they have the Smite, but they're going to take so much damage here.
The damage onto Chad on the other side as well. 50%. Arrow comes through, looking for Chad, but they don't have the damage just yet because Aspect is caught out with the chain of corruption on him. But they got to reset. They're getting out of there. The auto's already there. 1-for-1 trade as they go back in. Surdy, he's by himself, takes one with him. How does these fights keep getting so wild? It will be the soul for IMTC, but my God, Covey.
The Smite secure was there. They win the flip. This game's a heart attack. It's a walking heart attack. As you said, it's a marching heart attack, and it's a damn slow one. We're still in it. Soul is on the table. Over to IMT. Do they get Baron? We'll see.
They gotta stop the minions in the base first. All right, everyone, let's calm down.
No. I know this game's been out of like what's the comp we're seeing from Blue?
I'm talking to myself right now.
What are the fights we're seeing? What is going on? Why am I here? And do I love this or not? It is Valentine's Day special week. I'm trying. You know what I do love? The execute here from IMT as they get the stopwatch out of City. You know what I don't love? Balulu. He goes forward here. It's just a support Ash. You don't need to. They saw Aspect on the minion wave. He's got no Zanyas. He gets taken down for free, and that's what makes things spicy here in favor of TLF. But IMT, they held strong at the end.
It might not be the cleanest. It might not be the flashiest. But my God, is this game such a banger? Thank you.
You know, I always get like slightly nervous that, you know, sometimes the tweets that pop up are about the other stream, twitch.tv/Challengers League.
No, not this time, bro.
Not this time. I feel pretty good that that's about this one. As this game, we've been on one Nexus turret each for like 20 minutes. It feels like.
It's been since 22 minutes since the Nexus turret fell for IMTC.
We're close. TLF, and again, I do have to give TLF a lot of props. Like, they are hanging in this game. I called it earlier. I thought this game was done and dusted in favor of IMT. Given the state that Balulu's in, Balulu's even safer safe now. Is the Banshees.
All right, I gotta say one of my catchphrases, and that is, we got the late game, boys.
Yes, IMT has the late game.
Oh my God.
And they've surrounded the worm with kittens, thanks to Chad on the Maokai.
Also, I want to say props also to Mia. We haven't really gotten to talk about her too much. What she's done to create so much space for the team has been
a pain in the ass.
Gargantuan. Like, exactly. What can they do when she's constantly poking them, getting this Imperial Mandate procced onto them with the Grievous Wound?
This is good. Check with Hawk Shot. We need a Hawk Shot soon.
Hawk Shot. Come on, Mia. You've got this one. There
yeah, there it is.
50%. Getting the poke on Chad with the arrow coming through. It's going to be gone. Okay.
Third Baron.
Third Baron. Is that the charm for IMTC?
No, honestly, I know that when EG scouted Mia, because Mia was a 5-role challenger player, one of the reasons that Mia went to Marksman is that they felt like her best skill, like just natural skill, was spacing. And I think that you can really see that on the Ashe, how she's playing for those Ws to, hit the maximum amount of people at max range, so she can stay safe, but it's still pumping out damage. Definitely a good lesson for some of our Ashe players to look at. I know. I'm just going to talk through it. He's dead.
He's dead.
Don't worry about it. He's dead.
He went on an adventure. He was trying to see what kind of vision he could bring to his people. And unfortunately, it's just darkness.
Yeah, the adventure was a bad trip, is kind of what you're summing up here, Mad Magical.
Yeah,
as Rovex, he's going to go join his friends and family down under with the Nautilus. And now we'll see if that base can survive as Balulu. Keep in mind, there is a Baron buff. Inhibitors are spawning. Surdy is in the top side. He does spank
from Balulu.
This matchup. Mia's going to have to burn Cleanse.
Nice. Cleanse. No. That was Cleanse just in time.
It was early. It decreased the cooldown. Either way, Mia is able to get out. Surdy cannot finish off the base, the inhibitor, and he's just going to get chased now. So ADD is going to make sure that he cannot base or has to burn the TP to base. Balulu's even back now, too, and even this 3-man core for IMT, they still have taken 2 inhibitors now for themselves.
2 inhibitors. Feels like The closest we're now getting to an actual definitive end, but every time we say that, Cubby, the game continues. And ooh, can they stop?
You gotta be kidding me. You've gotta be kidding. He had the shield, they still would have base, but you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I know.
That kind of like in a way just sums up this game.
Yes.
Now, because it is Ashe Jace, we might get an Elder Flip.
You think so? You think we're gonna get another flip here? I mean, it is 2 minutes.
I feel
up.
pretty good given the rest of this game.
Not again. Not again.
No,
Rovex.
please again. No, this is good. This is good.
Wait, they don't see it. Oh no,
Yeah,
they don't see it at
good.
all. He went the smart way too. They have no idea. Again, on his little adventure, the blast cone. They've got to clear out the minion waves though.
That's the best one they can get. Do we have the double TP?
These. Oh, come on. You got to clear them out quickly.
They see all 5. They can go if they want, but I think it's too late.
No, it's too late. You can't clear out these minions in time. There's going to be double supers in every single lane with all 5 players here. And look at that. Balulu looked for the pick, but he doesn't get it. And now there's no Nexus Charge left. IMTC, you can win this game. Hit the damn Nexus already, because otherwise the game can continue on with the picks, with the damage. There it is. Game finally's over.
Yeah, Rovex finished the game in the enemy base. You know, it's all fine. They couldn't set up the TPs. IMT end up pulling that one out at the end. That was a game, you know?
I like that. I had fun.
I guarantee I knew you would. I don't know why I knew that about you, Mad Magical. Not sure, but that was a game.
I'm just, you know, instead of actually saying anything impactful, I'm just going to have a sip of tea.
Well, I mean, if you're just going to be sipping tea, then I think I'm going to take advantage and throw this one to a break, as we'll be back in a couple minutes with Sierra to help us break everything down with the halftime show.
I'm Joshua Joshi Howard, joined with the mid laner here for Immortals Challengers, Balulu. For the younger players who are trying to go pro, for anybody who's just watching this for the first time, we're going to try and help you guys get a little bit better by getting into the mind of people who are way better than us. So this first clip that we have is from your debut game against Team Liquid Challengers. It's one of the first places where it felt like the game had equalized.
I know that this is a good area for us to fight, because their AD is like bot lane. The AD is like bot lane, so we have a man advantage. And I know that Zoe is especially really good in skirmishes early game. So whatever happens, you just want to fight with Zoe, because if they use flash, ignite, cleanse, you can just pick it up, just like rush on them. We're saying that we're going back to our lane, so like we're going bot, and then we see that APA is walking up a bit too close and he has no flash. So when we see this, I'm just calling Chad to just ult on this guy, and we committed on him and he died. We didn't really plan it, but depending on what the enemy does, you can always change your plan.
We were a little bit surprised about Wixie flashing over the wall. What were your thoughts and what were the communications like at the
I didn't really see
play?
that one actually. Can we watch that again?
Yeah, he's over here on the wall and he just goes over.
Wait. I didn't see this one. Oh, it's kind of troll actually. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. But sometimes when you're like strong calling something and everyone just wants to commit to the play, so I respect that. But yeah, it's definitely wrong.
This fight is where you guys go from pretty even to suddenly in the lead. Well, let's take a look at the actual clip itself, and you can walk me through some of the things that you were thinking about during the fight.
I think now we won this fight now.
Yeah.
Because like they overcommit everything for Chad and they couldn't kill him. I see a few flashes on the ground, so it's just go. We're just saying go. It's like this, not much thinking. We just go for it.
What are you thinking about in order to get yourself to stop here, not run forward, and potentially take an extra tower shot?
So he has more damage the longer you are from the target, and also not risking getting killed here.
Yeah.
So, and also I have a flash, so no matter what happens, I'll always be in range. I could even be more behind to have more damage here.
One of the things that I was most interested in looking at this one is you're teleporting in over here, and there's a decision point where you can choose to attack Shochi on the Tryndamere, or you can go and kill Perry's Maokai, and you choose to go kill Perry's Maokai. Why do you do that?
Because here, we know that Maokai has no flash here. We're perma-calling it that he has no flash. Tryndamere has his ult, so he can always buy time. I might not be able to kill him. He has Ghost, Flash, and his E to get away. So that just, in my mind, I'm just ignoring the Tryndamere and going for the Maokai here. Because he's dead. After he's dead, we're going to chase them down with all the team coming. So it's just a clear decision for me there.
Yeah.
And here they're all out of position. I can get the Maokai R, get a good angle on the R, and we just chase them down.
So the big decision you saw was like, it's not obvious if you guys can kill Tryndamere, but you're guaranteed to kill on parry.
Yeah, exactly. We're already won this fight, by the way. Like, this fight is already won. Like, the point I pressed this TP, and ADD is flanking from top side, there's just no way they're getting out of here. Now we just have to think, how can we kill the most amount of people here?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like not helping my team here. I'm just going for parry.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that my team will handle these other guys without even looking. So we just gotta like round them out like sheep and just try to get him as much as possible.
What noise do sheep make in Swedish and Turkish?
In Swedish, it's bad.
What sound does the rooster make?
So in Swedish, it's we say kuckeliku klockan är sju. Kuckeliku is the sound.
Yeah.
The time is, and then klockan är sju, the time is 7. So like,
Kuckeliku.
and you say, so you say in the morning and it's like, the time is 7, wake up. Okay, so we didn't start off the season very good. We're 2-7 now, I think, bottom 12. But I have confidence in the team. We're improving very quickly. So keep cheering for us. We'll make it to the top again. So keep watching us, guys.